I had a dream. Well, before that, I had a dream working in the mines. Thought, what about a mobile butcher? And I got towards the end of working in the mines and I wanted to be home with my young family. I thought, I might give that a go. So a dream obviously turned into reality.
We're speaking with Michael Dale, Mick Dale from mixbutchery.com. They provide on-farm and property livestock processing. It's meat processed to match your needs from paddock to plate. He's a fully qualified butcher, and he also has a story, a book co-published with Pat Mesiti. It's called Stories of Strength, Real Journeys of Struggle, Resilience, and Renewal. So right off the bat, if you are in York Peninsula or the Mid-North or Southern Flinders of South Australia, everywhere in between, 04188-21296. He provides this service, which we will talk about today, as well as his origin story. So, Mr. Mick Dale, how are you?
Yep, not too bad, Robert. Yourself?
I'm fabulous, and I'm excited to hear from you about the ins and outs of butchery, meat processing, plus what makes you tick and what gets you excited. So what is newsworthy? What do you have to talk about today?
Basically, just how I started from when I was 16 and then built a business probably about 10 years ago. I had a dream. Well, before that, I had a dream working in the mines. Thought, what about a mobile butcher? And I got towards the end of working in the mines and I wanted to be home with my young family. I thought, I might give that a go. So a dream obviously turned into reality.
Very nice. So you said you're already doing the hard work, right? You're working the mines. You say, let me do some other hard work, but a skill that you've learned, that you enjoy, that you can make a business of. And so you're a qualified mobile butcher with over 9 years of experience helping farmers, hobby farmers, and rural families process their own livestock right on the property. So just to give us an understanding, like who would be calling you or looking up your services and for what?
Obviously, yeah, the livestock owner. So, like you said, that could range from a farmer to hobby farmers, and they might ring up. I've got, say, 5 sheep or a cow. I'd like to get processed for obviously sell purpose. So, yeah, they'd ring me up. I'd come along, take the animal from paddock to carcass, and the carcass hangs for about a week or so. Then I come back and cut it up into cuts, ready for the freezer and ready for the client to be used.
Very cool. So there used to be doctors that make house calls, or now there's someone taps a button on their phone and an Uber arrives, and here you are. Someone says they have sheep or a cow, and you go and you work your magic, right? You process the meat and get it cut up in a way that can then be used. And so you said that when you were 16, you figured out you're good at this and you enjoyed that. So can you tell us what that was like? How was it when you were 16 and you made this discovery?
Um, yeah, it was pretty hard. I had to move away from home to learn the trade. So I didn't know anyone. I had to board with someone I never knew. That was pretty hard. But as I got into each year, everything kind of fell together. I learnt the trade and met a lot of people, which learning that trade's given me the skills that I've been able to develop and build a business, a very successful business.
Very nice. So hard work and learning these skills and networking with others. And it's is this a job that maybe some people maybe think you're crazy for getting into? Because I can only imagine like being on your feet, working your muscles, maybe smelling, maybe sweating. Like it seems like it's enjoyable, but physically it can be really tough. Correct?
Correct. Yep. Probably the first stage of the process, obviously taking the animal from paddock to the carcass, isn't the best part, but obviously man's been eating meat since day dot, so it's yeah, it's just what has to be done.
Yeah, and I know that both in America and Australia, depending on where you go, there's some people that are more rural and they believe in living off the land and in being careful or knowledgeable about what they eat. And so, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because if you're a city person, you could go to the grocery store and buy something, but maybe it has chemicals, antibiotics, versus if you're in a farming area, then someone who uses your service, maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, but that's right. So my clients, they know the background of the animal, um, and what has been fed, and whether any chemicals are being used. And obviously, the animal is stress free because they don't have to be loaded into a trailer or a truck, driven somewhere, and then obviously unloaded in a new environment, which obviously stresses the animal out a fair bit, which all comes back to meat quality.
Okay, so it's much better quality of meat, and it's more caring for the animal. And so you mentioned a little bit there about you've been at this for 9 years, and I can only imagine the things that you've seen. And do you think is there anything in particular that makes you stand out? Is there like the good like work ethic, communication process? Like why have you succeeded for 9 years where others might have failed?
Um, well, yeah, my father passed away when I was young, so obviously I had to grow up pretty quick, and obviously um, manual labour. I was doing that as a young age, so that's probably helped me to move into what I do. Obviously, a lot of lifting and stuff like that. So I'm not frightened to get in and give it a go. And obviously, um, if someone rings me up and they want to book an appointment in a year's time, well, that date or that day, I'll show up on time and obviously reliable.
All right. So you go out and get it. You say you're fearless and you're ethical, and you say, I'll work for my supper. I'm going to go out and get it. And what sorts of struggles have you had building your business? Was it difficult to manage the money or get clients or figure out your branding or your tools? Where were the difficulties?
Um, Probably, obviously, I started with one core room, and then once I found out, obviously, it began to grow. It was obviously getting money behind me to be able to expand because obviously, a new business, banks, yeah, they don't want to deal with you. So that was pretty hard. Obviously, being able to grow and have the assets behind me to be able to do that.
Yeah, you have to have the data, the evidence, the proof, and say, it's tough when you get started, but then when you say, hey, I've been running this business, I've got these customers, I got this cash flow, then it can be easier for them to make that logical decision. And so if someone was to follow in your footsteps, right? Say there's some other 16-year-old out there who says they're really curious about this butchery career. Do you have any advice, or is there anything you wish you knew when you started?
Um, just give it a go. Um, yeah, if you got a dream, go for it because you never know. Could work out, could not, but if you don't give it a go, you'll never know.
Oh yeah,
There's
you never
it's
know.
a lot of manual labour. So yeah, just be prepared. Manual labour.
Yeah, so that there's set your expectations, but also be accepting of the unknown that's coming for you. And we've all been there, right? We've all thought we all daydreamed and said, I'm about to have this conversation. Maybe I'll say this and they'll say that. And then you get in that conversation and it's nothing like what you expected. And it seems like when you go out and do a job, I'm sure there's lots of, unexpected events and all sorts of surprises. And do you have any interesting stories to tell us about maybe just what you've seen or just some kind of adventure you've had in this business?
Um, oh, funny story is when I was an apprentice, the boss said to me, "You need to go out to the abattoir and process some sheep." So I go out there, do the job, I got back to the shop and I said to the boss, well, those sheep you had yarded, they were pretty fatty, a lot of fat on them. And he turns around and he goes to me, which sheep did you do? I said, well, the sheep in the pen. Um, those sheep, they were my partner's pet sheep. So, yeah, that sticks in my mind.
Oh no, you got the wrong ones.
Yeah, got the wrong ones. Yeah. I reckon he set
Oh
me
boy.
up. But anyhow,
Oh no. Well, so what is in the future for you? What do you have planned for your business moving forward?
well, come 2026, I'm looking at online with my business, doing webinars and offering training on going from paddock to carcass to cuts. The whole lot. People will learn what I know, which has taken me since I was 16. So they'll have all that information available. So sheep, which the sheep process also applies to deer, goats, and alpacas, and then also a program for beef.
Ooh, exciting. And I can only imagine the videos and the instructions that will go along with that. And it seems to be right in line with we've been having this repeat pattern here of like, just see what happens, right? Just see what the result is. And so you say, well, you've got this skill, you provide this service, and you put yourself out there and you said, hey, there's demand for this. And now you're saying, well, there's a way to shortcut someone else who wants to do this. So now you can teach others. And that might even be a path towards you getting more business, right? Because now you're more of an educator, authority figure. And then if someone is looking into, well, I want to get a really good mobile butcher who really knows their stuff. Well, someone that teaches it to others, they can see for themselves how good of a job that you do.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So they'll have all the information in front of them. What I've learned
Very nice.
from 16, they'll have it there.
Yeah. They'll shortcut the knowledge. And when anytime that you read a book, you are shortcutting knowledge. And that's like one of those lessons that we all wish we knew sooner, right? And we heard from grown-ups when we were kids, hey, you need to be a reader, right? Knowledge is power. Maybe we didn't take it seriously, but you read a book and there might be someone that had a whole lifetime of struggles and they put it in there, and that can avoid you making those sorts of same mistakes. And so on your own path to developing this good mindset, right? We've been mentioning all these like attributes that you have that have worked out. Have you always been, like you said, you lost your dad at an early age, but were you maybe like a slacker when you were super young, or were you always just really good and dedicated like you are now?
Um, Probably, yeah, just dedicated all my life, basically. My dad passed away when I was fairly young, so obviously I had to grow up pretty quick and obviously help around on the small property we had. So, yeah, it's from fencing, like digging post holes with a crowbar and a post hole digger, milking cows, cleaning out horse stables. So, um, wasn't a good event when he passed away, but I think that's given me the strength to be able to work hard and built what I've built.
Yeah, you stepped up and you made it work. Well, in these last several years, has there ever been a time when maybe you had like a bad day or you felt like quitting, any sort of like mental setbacks?
Um, Funny you say that. This year in April, I hit a roo in my van, and my van's like my mobile office. So that was a fairly big setback and expensive. And to get that van repaired, it took about 7 months. So I've had to outlay more money to keep going. So that kind of made me think. Have those moments on
And
the side of the bed where you think, "What am I doing? Is it worth it?" But anyhow, you keep going.
yeah, what am I doing? Is it worth it? You keep going, and you can only figure maybe it's a test to see how badly you want it and how far long term can you think. 7 months, and you say, well, this is my dream. I could give up now, but then all this would be for nothing. So I need to keep on going and make it work. And so we've been jumping around and talking about all sorts of different subjects, right? Like what you do and the service you provide and the way that you think. Do you think that there might be a missing question in our conversation? Do you think there's a question that I maybe should be asking you, I just don't know to ask you?
Well, probably one is when I spoke about next year, the online training. Maybe why would people want to trust me? Why would they want to, sign up and follow me? Well, I've got the skills, I've got the knowledge, I've done the hard yards, and people will have my knowledge.
Yeah, you've done it the hard way, and you're giving them maybe not the easy way, but the less hard way, where if they're excited about being someone that wants to take control of their own food supply, and they want to know how the job can be done in a simple, professional, cost-effective way, no middlemen, no mystery meat, just fresh meat you know and trust, done the old-fashioned way. Now you do it, or they can learn how to do it themselves and take control of their food supply and their health and their work ethic. And so if someone says, I want to find out about this online class or about the meat service, where should they go? What's the website?
Mixbutchery.com /home, and also a social media page, Facebook, Mix Butchery. There'll be some advertising on there. So follow that, click the link, and if you're interested, further details will be sent out.
All right. Very nice. Very simple. So that is mixbutchery.com /home. That's MICKSBUTCHERY.com. Email address is mick@mixbutchery.com. Phone number is 04188-21296. That's 04188-21296. He's based in South Australia, but he travels all over. And at Facebook, you can find him at Mick's Butchery Service. And he posts all kinds of interesting photos about how, like, for example, turning silver side into corned beef. And so even for free, you can get a jump start on just what's possible, what looks like good meat, and some kind of processes, some tutorials. So that's mixbutcheryservice.com. He's in Minleton. How do I say that, Mick?
Yeah, Minleton.
Minleton, South
right.
Australia. Minleton, South Australia. That's at 5 3rd Street if you happen to be nearby. But that's mixbutchery.com, and then storiesofstrengthbook.com if you want to find out about that motivational chapter that he co-wrote with Pat Mesiti, and he even throws in some quick meat mini tutorials as well. So he's a mobile butcher service providing on-farm livestock processing. It's Mick Dale from mixbutchery.com. And before I let you go, Mr. Mick, it's time for the scary part of the podcast where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking about a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a fun or interesting quote or lesson?
Well, my quote would be, I take the process from paddock to carcass, then to cuts. It's real meat, no shortcuts. It's the real deal.
Nice. So if you're interested in that, from, you say, paddock to carcass to cut and real meat, and it's the real deal, then check out Mick's Butchery Service on Facebook. And that website, when I lost the website, mixbutchery.com, is that correct?
Yeah, mixbutchery.com, yep.
mixbutchery.com. So check him out and find out about that upcoming online class and his service. And it's good to be educated about what's possible, whether you're a farmer looking to get this done or you're considering this as a profession. Take control of your meat, right? Don't trust the chemicals, ingredients, antibiotics, do the real stuff, and you'll be glad you did. Mick's Butchery Service. Mick Dale, thanks for being here, and thank you for being you.
No worries, mate. Thank you very much for that.